Guys, how you doing? Tom, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a little different. I want to make a video that shows different lofts and loft construction. And I'm going to start with my favorite one, mine. So basically it's 4 by 8 feet. I've got a wood floor framed with 2 by 4s. It is 8.5 feet up to the top. It has a metal roof. I really like the metal roof because the birds can't land up here unless they land right at the peak. They learn that they can't land here, and it helps them encourage them to land on the landing board, and it works really good. I've got an external battery supply that I put right here, and I've got my clock that's on a shelf up here, and my antenna is up here too. So this is the setup, just like it is when the birds come home from a race. The antenna is underneath the plywood, and they scan right in. Around here you can see how I have the water set up. It makes it really easy. You know, I've got a couple waters here. These are the high dollar ones, but you know, you can get the ones from the pigeon houses as well. It's got wire on the bottom down there, so the droppings just drop through if there happen to get any, but it works really good. As far as ventilation goes, it's all open up here in the eaves. It's open at the peak a little bit. I've got air vents along the back of the loft. Come around here and I'll show you that. So down here you can see the wire down there. These are my perches. They're popped out a little bit just to give me a little more room in there. Let's open the loft up and take a look inside. I've got box perches. Each perch is roughly 10 by 10, and they're 11 high. But the door slides out, and it'll can become a nest box. So it's basically a 10 by 20 little nest box. They're pretty handy. I like them a lot. I've got food storage and grit storage down here. Regular feeder. What I want to do is show you my trap. So it's a drop trap, and right now I just have it up here out of the way, and it just comes down real easy. And I just hang it up like that, and the birds can trap in. But I don't want raccoons or anything to get in there, so I pop it off, and I can lock the door right here, and this just goes right back up onto these nails. Works great. I've got wire up here to keep them off the rafters. Couple problems with the loft. If I have birds already in here and other birds come to trap, they land here and see the birds up on the windowsill, and they don't want to necessarily trap in. If I was going to do this again, I would put the landing board and my trap up higher, and I'd have the window underneath or a settling cage underneath or something. But the birds kind of hesitate. You've probably seen it in some of the videos. When they come down, they land and they see the birds up there, and either they know there's no food in there, or you know, they want to get up here rather than trap in. I already told you about the metal roof. It's great because they try to land and they kind of just slide off, and it just helps on race day get them to land right here. This is where we want them. Okay, the other problem with this loft, the size. It's 4 by 8 feet. And you know, to fly just young birds, it's not a problem. But if I was going to try to fly old birds, I wanted to separate cocks and hens, it's kind of hard to do. So guys that have a loft this size, I'd almost need 2 or 3 lofts. One for young birds, one for cocks, and one for hens. You know, maybe one for breeders. We're going to look at 2 fanciers, one that has a bunch of small lofts, and then we're going to look at one fancier that has a big loft that houses all their pigeons.
All right, this is one loft that houses all the fancier's pigeons. It's 6 by 32 feet. It's got 4 sections. It slopes from the front to the back. The front is 8 feet tall. The back is 6.5 feet tall. It's got venting across the front, and here's venting in the back. It does have 2 aviaries. They're 8 feet wide. They're 4 feet deep. And this door kind of opens to let the pigeons trap in. Inside, expanded metal floors. There's a 8-foot section with perches, an 8-foot section with nests, a fan for venting. There's the traps. There's air venting across the top, all the way along the length of the loft, and in the back, all the way along the length of the loft. It's got Belgium nest boxes. And then this is kind of identical, the second half. We've got perches. The bobs are one way to go out and another way to go in. So you can run all the pigeons out. I think this is their young birds. Again, expanded metal floors. They can lock it up so pigeons can't come in or out. It's a very cool loft. All right, this next fancier has a bunch of small lofts. These are individual breeding cages. They're 8 feet long. Each 8-foot breeding cage, 3 sections. So you can house 3 pairs in each 8-foot breeding cage. 29, 32, and basically a 2x4 frame on the bottom. Plywood's holding up the sides. Couple pieces of 2x4 across the top. One in the middle, one on each end. All wire in the front. He has 4 of these breeding cages, so he can have 12 breeder cocks, 12 breeder hens for stock birds. Just individual breeding cages. He just has them up on sawhorses. Just a simple tin roof. Definitely an old loft. Same water, similar waters as mine. Landing boards, 28 inches. Length of the loft is 8 feet. So it's basically a sheet of plywood down here, a sheet of plywood on either side, and then a sheet of plywood on the back here. And this area is the perches, 6.5 inches deep. You know, so you got ventilation coming through here. All right, he has a shutter right there you could pull down if he needed to darken this loft. A long time, but release door here. His boxes, 12 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches. They're just open wire in the front. And we got a Cooper's hawk wanting me to let the birds out. All right. Now these other 3 lofts, they're all the same. So he's got young birds, these are cocks, these are hens. 4 feet by 40 inches on the landing board. This just blocks it so birds can't get out. You got the same water system down there. By 6, 10 by 6. And underneath, all right, he has vents under here, but each loft, the floor inside is really just 4 by 8. And then he's got 2 feet above the vent sticking out. So inside, we've got the drop trap. This is kind of a little release door that he doesn't use. There's a release door here as well. That you could let out pigeons. And in here, same box is 15 inches, 11 inches by 14 inches. 27.5 inches. This shelf here. All these lofts are the same. Big open window. About 23 inches there. We're 7 feet at the peak and 6 feet 4 inches on the sides. Pretty cool. I guess PVC settling cage, really lightweight. I think he has this rigged up, so I think if you wanted, you could
I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Take care.